They said if you looked her in the eyes, you'd turn to stone, but no one asked what she saw before she turned. They feared her, hunted her, beheaded her. But what if I told you Medusa was not a monster? She was a victim, not of fate, but of gods. In the shadows of ancient Greece, among the ruins and myths passed down from trembling lips, there lives a name that still stirs both fear and fascination. Medusa. She's remembered as a monster, a snake-haired beast who turned men into stone with a single glance. Her face, frozen in terror and rage, has adorned shields, temples, and whispered warnings for centuries. But few remember that Medusa was once just a girl. Long before the curse, before the venom, before the stone, there was a girl who loved the gods, who dreamed of purity, and who served her goddess with unwavering faith. Medusa was born of sea and salt, the daughter of ancient marine deities, Phorcys and Ceto. She had two sisters, Stheno and Euryale, immortal and fearsome from birth, with features meant to terrify. But Medusa was different. She alone was mortal, soft, bright-eyed, and uncommonly beautiful. Even as a child, she stood apart. While her sisters played like wild things in the tide pools and caves, Medusa found solace in the temples. She admired the goddesses carved in stone, especially one, Athena, goddess of wisdom, strategy, and strength. Medusa didn't just worship Athena, she modeled herself after her. While her sisters pretended to be monsters, Medusa would always pretend to be the goddess, standing tall with olive branches in her hands, giving orders in their childhood games with a quiet command. She played often with a local boy named Iphicles, a gentle soul with curious eyes. The two were inseparable through the years, and though their relationship would blossom into a quiet, unspoken love, Medusa was determined to dictate herself to something higher. When she came of age, she made her vow to become a priestess of Athena, to serve in her temple, to uphold discipline and purity, and to live untouched by mortal longing. Love, in all its temptations, had to be left behind, even Iphicles. She entered the temple with reverence, ready to give herself entirely to the goddess, and for a time, she was content. Medusa was unlike the other priestesses. She carried herself with an innate grace, her devotion not just dutiful but passionate. She memorized the sacred texts, she led the chants, her offerings were always perfectly prepared, and slowly, without meaning to, she became the temple's center. But her beauty, once just another part of her mortal life, began to draw attention she did not ask for. The temple, once a place of solemn worship, became crowded with onlookers, not to praise Athena, but to catch a glimpse of the girl with the sea-washed hair and the voice like rain. Men traveled from nearby cities, pretending to bring offerings, only to stare. Some whispered that her hair rivaled Athena's. Others said she must have been touched by Aphrodite herself. And though Medusa kept her head bowed and her heart faithful, the words floated upward to Olympus. Athena, ever proud and ever watchful, heard the rumors. She saw her temple becoming a stage, but for the time being, she said nothing. After all, Medusa had not asked for admiration. She remained dutiful, focused, untouched. But gods do not forget slights, even when they are accidental. And elsewhere, in the depths of the sea, Poseidon stirred, the god of oceans and storms, of power and pride. He had long resented Athena. The two had clashed over dominion of the great city of Athens, and when the people chose Athena's wisdom over Poseidon's fury, his pride had been wounded. For years, he waited for a chance to strike back. When he saw Athena's most prized priestess becoming the focus of mortal adoration, he thought here was his opportunity. Medusa, unaware of the divine tensions mounting around her, continued her service as always. She lit candles, cleaned the altars, whispered prayers. Her life belonged to Athena. But one quiet evening, as the sun dipped low and the sea turned red with light, Medusa walked along the shore, alone. The wind carried the scent of salt and thunder, and in the distance, she heard someone call her name. She turned, and from the waves, Poseidon emerged, tall, radiant, and terrifying. He approached her not as a beast, but as a god cloaked in charm. He praised her beauty and her devotion. He spoke of Olympus and power and eternity, but Medusa stepped back. Her vow vows were clear. Her path had been chosen. She rejected him. Poseidon's eyes darkened. The charm vanished, replaced with fury. When she turned to flee, he caught her wrist. She fought, she screamed, and in her desperation, she broke free and ran to the only place she believed she would be safe. Athena's temple. There, in the sacred space meant for peace, Poseidon took what was not his. He defiled the temple, and he broke the girl who had only ever wanted to serve the gods. He left without remorse or shame, his vengeance against Athena complete. Medusa lay shattered at the feet of the goddess she had loved, her purity stolen, her life forever changed. But when Athena appeared, she did not offer comfort, she did not show pity. The goddess's voice thundered through the temple, and her gaze landed on Medusa, not as a victim, but as a failure. Athena accused her of vanity, of attracting attention that should have belonged only to the divine, of allowing the sacred space to be desecrated. In one furious moment, Athena cast her judgment. She did not punish Poseidon, she punished Medusa. With a single breath, Athena transformed the girl she once favored into a creature of terror. Her hair twisted into venomous snakes. Her once soft eyes became cursed, now capable of turning any who met them into stone. Her beauty, once admired, became a weapon. Banished from the temple, Medusa fled, no longer priestess, no longer a girl. Word spread quickly of a monster haunting the cliffs, of men who ventured too close and were found as lifeless statues. She became legend, then warning, then myth. But few knew the truth, that Medusa never wanted to hurt anyone. She hid in the wild, in the ruins of forgotten temples, trying to escape the world, trying not to be seen. Years passed, the girl faded, the monster remained, until one day, a new name entered her story, Perseus. Far across the Aegean, Perseus, young, proud, yet untested, was chosen by fate to hunt a monster no man had faced and lived to speak of, sent by a jealous king, Polydectes of Seriphos, who wanted Perseus dead, and perhaps by the gods themselves. His quest was not born of courage, but of manipulation. A pawn, draped in borrowed glory, with Athena's shield in hand and Hermes' winged sandals at his feet. He soared above the darkened lands, over silent forests and sleeping hills, past temples where statues still wept for the Gorgon's victims. The trail was hidden, cloaked in shadows. None dared speak her name, and yet he followed, driven not by hatred, but by necessity. He sought the Grey Eye, 3 ancient sisters who shared one eye and guarded the secrets of the world. Their cave was a cold place, where time stood still. From them, he wrested the path to the edge of the world, where life itself recoiled, and the earth forgot how to breathe. There, beyond mortal reach, Perseus found the Gorgons. They did not dwell in a lair of horror, as stories claimed, but in a twilight realm of stone and silence, where the sea crashed endlessly against black cliffs, and wind howled like lost souls. Medusa, the cursed one, lay still among her sleeping sisters, her breath steady, her face, once divine, hidden behind serpents that never rested. She was not hunting, she was hiding. Perseus, cloaked in gifts not his own, approached not like a warrior, but like a thief in the night. He crept forward, step by trembling step, the shield of polished bronze held before him, not to strike, but to see. For to meet her gaze was death, not because she desired it, but because the curse demanded it. In the reflection, he saw her, a woman twisted by gods and time. Serpents wriggled gently around her face, their hissing more like whispers than threats. Her eyes were closed, perhaps dreaming of the temple she once called home. He could not face her, so he watched through the shield, avoiding the weight of her gaze, and raised the sickle gifted by the gods. With one swift motion, he severed her head and ended the cursed life that had never truly been hers. But the story didn't end there. From Medusa's blood spilled on the earth sprang 2 children, Chrysaor, the warrior with the golden sword, and Pegasus, the winged horse, a creature of purity and grace, born from pain. Some say Athena in the end showed mercy, that she placed Medusa's head upon her shield, the aegis, not as a trophy, but as a remembrance, a way to honor the girl who once served her. with such fierce devotion. Others say it was yet another act of possession, the final insult. But perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between. Medusa was not born a monster. She was made into one by the pride of a god, by the judgment of a goddess, and by a world that never stopped to ask what happened. Medusa is not the only one lost in shadow. Beyond this tale, deeper myths await of winged heroes, wrathful gods, and broken fates. The ancient world is vast, and we've only just begun. Watch the next story and let the old voices speak again, and let us know in the comments below which myth would you like to hear next.